Architect Perry Dye chose Sea Spray for his new seaside golf course, Lycia Links Golf in Antalya, Turkey.
I really find it to be a solution to a problem that we face trying to do seaside golf courses, and you know, there's nothing more fun than playing golf next to the ocean, or really being around the ocean at all. And so, but to be able to have a seed that you can bring to a country and get it through customs and not worry about it deteriorating, and actually plant it and actually see it grow and be a great playing surface.
You know, I think it's a great grass for parks and golf courses and any public utility type place that's going to use recycled water, and is cautious of, you know, having an environmentally friendly grass that accepts reclaimed water and does well in it. Typically this area has been heavily in like tall fescues and cool season grasses for home lawns and parks and recs and schools, and as the you know, the dynamics of the industry change and things are going to be more, recycled water will be more of the norm in irrigating parks, and it already is, that we feel Sea Spray is the best solution.
But it's a great playing surface as far as hitting the club and the ball and the way the ball sits on the turf. It really is an excellent surface, and the color and you know, for those who don't understand what striping is all about, but when you mow it, the stripes are in the fairways, and it really gives you a real professional look, and yet it's a very low maintenance turf.
Although fresh water is recommended, Sea Spray will actually germinate in water containing less than 2,000 parts per million salt, and will tolerate soil with a pH range of 4.5 to 9.0.
As far as growing, I think we used straight city potable water for growing. I think when the grass is real young, that you have to kind of use a cleaner water for it, but after it's established, it can take the effluent water.
I've seen it in Mexico. Well, several golf courses now have gone over to desalinization plants, and they're able to actually mix some of the brackish water with some of the seawater and be able to apply it directly to the Sea Spray sod and have good growth.
We're not afraid of any type of salt with the type of roots, and you know, as drought tolerant as your stuff is, we get in a bad situation, we'll just turn the water off.
Seashore paspalum has a very aggressive growth habit. It spreads through both stolons and rhizomes and develops a deep and extensive root system, making it highly drought tolerant.
This particular seed not only germinated, but once it got really warm and started going, we just dug a trench about 8 feet deep, and the roots are down 6-8 feet now. So I mean, it's really a phenomenal grass. You know, for stabilization and all those things. Once it gets going, it really does go, and and it doesn't take much to get it going. It's just a little bit of heat and a little bit of patience.
It's a very aggressive grass. That is a huge benefit for being so aggressive. It will take over. You know, you can even cut the water off and it'll keep growing. It'll find a way, and you put the water back onto it and it'll shoot right off again.
Last year, before we did our first cart path edging last fall, we had some runners over the cart path that was probably 18 to 24 inches when we did it. And I actually used that as some sodded areas, some thinner areas. I cut it out and planted it like sod. It is definitely aggressive growing sideways.
Of course, Sea Spray is a great grassing selection for hot, humid climates. But it also withstands waterlogged, low oxygen conditions, low light levels, high levels of traffic, and it retains good color in cool weather.
Heat tolerance, excellent. Also, out here in the desert, in the wintertime, it's also very cold. And going into dormancy, this variety seems to stay greener for quite some time. It still holds its color very well. I've seen it just take a beating in different situations and come right out of it.
Sea Spray is also an excellent environmental turfgrass. Its ability to quickly uptake nutrients means it needs less nitrogen.
At first we had troubles with it because we've been used to high nitrogen fertilizers growing Bermuda grasses and stuff. So it was hard for us at first to get used to it. But basically, it's everything that everyone's heard is high, potassium, phosphorus, fertilizers, low nitrogen. We use a lot of iron and things like that to keep it green. But it really is a lower impact fertilizer-wise grass versus some others. It stays pretty green without providing a lot of nitrogen for it.
If you want to go back for nature and use for some reason, environmental reason or whatever, and if you have a water issue, I think the paspalum is the best.
Nitrogen levels aren't, the fertilizer, it's not something you need to do much, which also is a big savings.
I was very confident that having known the characteristics of paspalum, if I could get it to grow there next to the ocean, that it would provide it a good playing surface for the golfer, which I think is really important. And it also would really provide an environmentally sound area that wouldn't interfere with both the fishing and the turtles and other habitats. And that's what you've done with the sea spray. I mean, there's no doubt that sea spray has advanced this in the environmental issues 100% forward.
Seashore paspalum will actually remove salt from the soil, making it an excellent choice for bioremediation and land reclamation projects. Sea Spray seeded paspalum beautifies all turfgrass applications with outstanding turf quality, a bright blue-green color, a thick, uniform appearance, and it stripes well on sports fields and golf courses.
And another benefit of this during this time of year is when it is 110 degrees out here, the striping of it is with the waxier blade of paspalums, it stripes up so nicely for sports complexes and for even professional fields. The way they like to burn in the outfields, it looks really nice with the paspalum.
Sea Spray also transitions out of overseeding more smoothly and evenly than Bermuda grass.
One thing that I know that we were worried about is transition with ryegrass, and we've overseeded fields and through the winter and had no problems with transition. The Sea Spray came right back and the ryegrass died off, and the transition period was relatively easy.
On golf course tees and fairways, players say its dense and upright growth habit provides better lies than Bermuda grasses and other warm season varieties.
I seen the sea spray on the putting green. If you work it properly, you can really get as good putting surface like all the other paspalum they talk about.
We have Sea Spray tees, greens, and fairways, etc. And on the greens, the Sea Spray, really was the answer, because when we planted it, we did put a little bit more contours in the greens. And that's because we didn't anticipate having other types of northern grass speeds of 13 and 14. This is a resort course. It much more fit our style. Being next to the ocean, we could build more Scottish style greens. We put a little bit more contours in them, and yet the speeds are 9.5 if we want to, we can go as high as 11 without pressing the issue too much.
Nothing but positive feedback. Playability is really good on the fairways. The ball sits up on it. We are mowing it low at 400, but it still kind of sits up on top of it. So the better golfers like it, and with it sitting up, the higher handicappers like it also.